Hi, I'm Robin Forster with Feel So Alive and Feel So Alive Informed. And welcome. We're glad that you're here, whether you're watching us live now, either on Facebook or YouTube, or whether you're looking at the replays, which we know are a lot easier for most folks to catch. I'll be looking down at my notes sometimes, so when you see my eyes drift off to the side, that's what's going on. And one of the things that I wanted to let you all know about is that, and I know I'm not the only one, so many of us are looking for a way to fit in more health and to fit in business practices that work in a better way for us or to help us be better business people. I am a solo entrepreneur, and so I'm always looking for ways and hacks to be more effective, more efficient, and also take care of my health, because without that, what is there? So this program runs, let me move on to the next slide. There we go. This program runs about 30 minutes-ish, just so you have a sense of what's going on. And our first guest is usually about 10 minutes. And then we have a hosted health tip from Feel So Alive. Our second guest is about 10 minutes. And then we just give you an update on the upcoming dates and contact information so that you'll know when the next program drops. And our guest speakers today are, I was just checking to make sure that my mic was working because I'm not seeing the volume that I thought I should be seeing. And there seems to be a delay, which is interesting. But before we begin, I just wanted to take about 30 seconds because we all know that the world is a little wonky. And even though it's getting better, which is awesome, and summer's here, and that's always kind of a positive thing, let's go ahead and share some juice, something from our heart, whether it's a blessing, a prayer, whether it's a white light, whatever it is that you do. Let's just take about 30 seconds to lower our gaze or close our eyes, unless you're driving, and then don't do any of those things. Safety is so much more important. But let's just kind of give to the universe some positiveness. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next for about 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Robin Forster with Feel So Alive and Feel So Alive Informed. I'm going to stop this just for 1 second. Before I just wanted to let you know, and I totally forgot to say that both of the guests that we have speaking today, they're both pre-recorded. And the reason for that is that, as we all know, life gets a little wonky, and I'm trying to cut out as many technical glitches as possible. So now back to Sensei Alex. He is a friend's husband is how I met him. Anyway, it's a very fun interview. I think you're going to enjoy this. To introduce him, I want to tell you a little bit about him. But Alex, it's okay if you want to go ahead and say hi to everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alex Stephens, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, excellent. Okay. I'd like to welcome all of our viewers, whether you're watching live or on the replay. And let me share with you a little bit about Alex. And I'll be looking down at my notes if you're wondering why I'm looking away. Okay, Sensei Stephens was awarded a third-degree black belt, which is pretty amazing, even for those of us who don't know much about it. That's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
His credentials are recognized by the American Karate Academy's National Association. He has been teaching karate to the adaptive community for 6 years, and he developed his passion for working with special needs teaching within the Oregon school system. He's taught SPED at Ashland High School and worked in behavioral classrooms at Springfield Public School System, and that's here in the Eugene area. Sensei Stephens was awarded the Silver Sidekick Angel for his work with special needs. which is pretty awesome. So good on you.
Thank you.
And his passion for karate has opened the doors to Reverence Karate-Do Institute in Eugene, Oregon, and that was in 2020. Talk about a year.
That's right. That was a very interesting year to start, but we've been successful since then. So it's been very exciting.
Oh, neat. Well, the thing I should let everyone know, the reason. Am I okay? I just got another notice that my internet was unstable.
Well, there was a small glitch, but you're coming in okay right now.
Oh, good. Okay. And the reason that I wanted to talk to Alex today, and I think this is going to be fascinating, is I met him through his wife, Shiloh, and I met Shiloh through networking here in the Eugene, Oregon area. The fun thing is that I also have a master's in special ed and have worked with special ed population,
Wonderful.
as has my husband. Mine was mostly in juvenile corrections, and now the whole adaptive piece, not only for kids, but as I'm aging, those of us who are aging are finding out that our bodies are not 100% agreeing with the activities that we think we should be able to do. So I'm excited to explore that. So Alex, are you ready for the first question?
I am absolutely ready.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I opened Reverence Karate-Do Institute in Eugene almost a year and a half ago, and I specialize in teaching the adaptive community. And the adaptive community is lots of different parts of the community. I've worked with autism and Down syndrome. I started a new program which starts in July, I'm excited about, for Parkinson's disease. So all ages. The adaptive community, if you adapt to the world around you, then you're part of the adaptive community. I adapt myself. I have a hearing disability and I have to adapt. And so we found that karate is a wonderful tool to help all of those people, whatever their needs may be, to gain confidence, gain balance, strength training, be more independent. And I just absolutely love it. And so I started teaching in Ashland, Oregon, 2015. I started at Parks and Recreation there in Ashland. And my sensei allowed me to start teaching the class on my own as a brown belt, which was a pretty honorable thing to do. Usually you don't get to teach for a few more years. And so I developed this program, and it was open for everybody. And I got all different types of people in there from the adaptive community. And after every class, I'd go to my car and I'd just be in tears because I felt that I found my purpose. And I'm almost in tears right now talking about it. It's an amazing thing. But I love karate. I love helping people. It in turn helps me become a better person. And I just can't say enough about the power of karate and how it can help people.
Oh, you almost have me in tears too. There's something special about finding your mission.
That's right.
And you did, and what a very special mission on top of that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so now that we both dried our eyes, move on to the next question. And so you told us a little bit about how you got drawn to this line of work. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, and maybe where you were before you decided to be a teacher and how you decided to go into special ed?
Absolutely. It's a pretty fun story. So I was working in a doctor's office. I wasn't particularly fond of what I was doing. Didn't find my purpose yet. But I was training in karate, and I was assisting my instructor as I was acquiring rank in the system. And that's part of the curriculum, is to help others. And so one day my sensei asked me to help a student. And this student was not engaging with his peers, always had something snappy to say, just really didn't seem interested. And so my sensei charged me with the task, I want you to work with this young man one-on-one and see what you could do. And that's all he told me. And so I did. And I started the lesson, and it started off kind of rocky. It was a little rough, but for that 1 hour helping the student, somehow I made a connection. And when he left the dojo, he looked at me, he said, "Thank you," he bowed, and he said, "Have a great day, sensei." That was pretty cool. And so I talked to my sensei after that. I said, "Mr. Piddington, can you tell me a little bit more about this student? Something just didn't seem quite right. And he says, oh, well, that young man has autism. I said, wow, that might have been some helpful information, but I'm glad you didn't tell me, because it was a very profound experience. And so the next day, I quit my job at the doctor's office, not knowing that I would have another job. And I applied as a substitute teacher in the Ashland School District. And sure enough, I landed the job, which was a good thing because I didn't have one since I quit the other one. And I started working with all different ages in the special education programs in the Ashland school system, kindergarten all the way up through high school. And so I started learning about working with the different members of the adaptive community. And I just started to develop my passion. And I was thinking, I know that I could help these people better if I was just allowed to teach karate in the school system. And so I pitched it to my superiors. I said, this is what I do. I've been running a program through Parks and Recreation and now at the dojo in Ashland Karate-Do. And they said, we'll give it a shot. And so they allowed me to teach karate to behavioral students at the high school at Ashland. And it was kids that were just really having a tough time. Maybe it was the last stop before being expelled or even ending up in jail. And so, I had some violent kids. I had some kids with some learning disabilities. I had some young people that may have been abused at time. And I was able to teach karate within the school system. And it was just a wonderful experience. And in fact, I got to connect with one of the students who I was teaching 4 years ago. He just graduated. And he wanted to Zoom call me, and I hadn't heard from him in 4 years, to tell me how well he was doing, and he wanted to thank me for the gift of karate. And so a little bit about me in a nutshell and how I got started, and it's just been an amazing journey.
Oh, that is so exciting. My background is also juvenile corrections, and working with that population that you're just talking about, that you were working with, and I know that that is a very challenging population. And part of my attitude when I was working with them, because I got them when they were locked up, when they finally got caught, was that they had survived and they were there, and that was awesome. And now it was time to learn some different skills, because the original skills they needed to let go of. Mm-hmm. But really honored that piece in them about being able to survive, because some of the backgrounds, as you know, are horrific.
They are. Yeah. And so with karate, we're helping others help themselves, giving them the tools for Kaizen. And Kaizen means always seeking perfection, knowing you'll never reach it. So just being a little bit better at everything you do, a little bit at a time. Karate is how we treat people and how we treat ourselves.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good to hear. That's very exciting. And so on to our third question.
Okay.
What is your gift that you want to give the world? Some tips, something that you can share that we can take away and use right now? Yeah.
Absolutely. You can better yourself by serving others. Give others a helping hand. Help them find their path to happiness, and it will in turn help you find yours.
Nice. So what would you suggest for people who need to take the first baby step in that direction?
Listen. Somebody's going to tell you when they need help. They may not tell you with their words, but they may be telling you with their nonverbal communication, their facial expression, their body posture, all of those things where the adaptive community, or at least some of the members of the adaptive community, that's how they communicate most of the time. And they're telling you what they need if you just listen and you watch. And when you find that, and they've told you what they need, help. That's it. And when they make progress, you'll feel it. You'll feel that yourself is getting better by helping somebody else get better in something. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Just help them in some way, shape, or form, because it all comes back. It all comes back.
Nice. Oh, Alex, what a wonderful note to end on. Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to say real quick? We're kind of up against the time, and I appreciate that you have a very pregnant wife sitting next to you.
Yes, very, very pregnant, but she's doing very well, and the baby will be here any day, which is very exciting. But my message to all of you, is to look for the butterfly, the Reverence Karate-Do butterfly. Come find us. You can see us on reverencekarate.com or Reverence Karate at Facebook. And consultations are free. Come down and talk to me and see how I can help you help yourself through the path of karate.
Oh, excellent. And we'll put those links also in the show notes so people can find you easier. And I'm interested in the Parkinson's class you're looking at starting sometime.
Oh, so am I. That's Monday and Wednesday morning, starting in July.
Oh, cool. Well, Alex, thank you so much. I won't take up any more of your time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was an honor to be here. And have a wonderful day.
Wasn't that fascinating, hearing from Alex and finding his mission? And I really liked, I was taking notes, I really liked one of the things he said about when you better yourself by serving others. And it's the whole karma thing. You put out good to the universe and good comes back to you, but that's not why you do it. You do it just to be of service. And I really, really like that. And his other tip about to listen, to just hear and be present. I just thought that was so awesome. So if you have any thoughts or comments, we would love to hear them. So please feel free to put them in the comments. I think that they're showing up and I'll be able to read them, but I'm not totally positive, so we'll find out. Okay, and next is health tips. And today I wanted to talk about hydration. It is summer here in Oregon and we have a heat wave, which is a little unusual, but becoming more usual. And so I wanted to talk about hydration. First of all, we all know that it's really, really important to drink fluid because our bodies are kind of like a car. If you don't put gas in it, you're not going to go. So if you don't put water, and I mean water, if you don't hydrate, you're not going to go. And part of what happens is that we have fascia underneath our skin, and the fascia gets dehydrated, and for a lot of people, a lot of times, that'll be some of those aches and pains or headaches and just kind of things that we think of as weird and not really understanding can come from being dehydrated. So yes, always start with water. That's the first place. And from some of the research I was doing, don't just expect to wait until your body says that it's thirsty. Some of the research is saying that that's a little on the late side. You want to drink some before you start feeling thirsty. And how active are you? That's where you need to gauge your water. If you're, for example, a runner and you're doing 3 to 5 miles in the morning or training for a marathon, you're going to need a lot more fluids than somebody who is sitting at their desk working all day. So think about that. Okay, and so the next question is, let's track our input and then observe our output. So one of the things I do for input so I can track it is, oh, and you can't see that, it's blue. How funny. I have this water bottle that I love, and that's kind of the first tip to making sure you're hydrating enough, is to have a water bottle that you like, that's kind of special. And this one is a treat, and I have wonderful stickers on it because I like stickers. But the secret that I found, and I wish I could say I came up with this, but I didn't, someone else did, and I thought it was brilliant, was I took 3 rubber bands, and for me, I wanted something kind of fun and pretty, because why not? So I got hair ties, and I have 3 hair ties on here because I know for me, I need to drink about 3 of these. I sat down and did the math. And so what I do is I start the day with all of them up here. And then as I refill it, I can roll this down. Oops. There you go. Now you can see it. And then when I refill it again, I roll the next one down. And that way, when it's sitting on my desk, I can look at it and gauge, oh, am I behind on sipping water? Or do I need to drink some more water and really focus on it because I'm a little behind? So that just makes it a whole lot easier for me to track it because I don't want to get dehydrated. My body, I'm aging, I need all the support I can get, and water is one of those wonderful ones. Also, pure water. Really, really good. Water out of plastic, not so much, but pure water is great. Oh, and also in terms of tracking your output, not only how often are you going to the bathroom, if it's once a day, you're probably not drinking enough fluids, just kind of as a rule of thumb, but you also want to look at the color. Is it really, really dark? Is it almost amber? Which is a sign that your body's telling you that you're not hydrating enough, you need more water. Is it pretty pale, pretty light yellowish? That's your body telling you that you may be hydrating enough for your body. And again, we're all different. So you just have to kind of experiment and see how you feel. Are you achy, headaches, those kinds of things? And also electrolytes. I have found that there's times when I'll start getting some leg cramps and I think about what I'm doing and what I'm drinking and eating during the day, and I'm not putting in any electrolytes. And I am doing some cardio, I am doing a little bit of workout, and I'm realizing my body's telling me to put in electrolytes. Now, for me personally, I have a go-to company, and I use those because I know that they're clean. And speaking of clean and pure, we have Olympians using our products and they get tested all the time. So I just wanted to let you know that I feel like I can trust these because other people who are much more serious about this than I am trust it. Anyway, so let me know if you have any questions about that. And this health tip was sponsored by and hosted by Feel So Alive. And now let's go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Katrina Garcia, and she's a lot of fun. Hi, I'm Robin Forster with Feel So Alive and Feel So Alive Informed. And looking down at my notes now and then, I want to thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us live or on the replay. And I am a solo entrepreneur who had all kinds of questions and was trying to figure out the business end of running a business. And so I've been fascinated with business and also health and wellness and aging gracefully, as we all are doing these days. And so I have a very special guest that I wanted to chat with and share with you. So let me tell you a little bit about her. And Katrina, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Awesome. Thanks. So just to give you a little bit of background, and I know Katrina will talk more about this, she is a CEO and founder of KG Website Design. She builds websites and membership sites, and she helps her clients, now listen to this, she helps her clients to make money while they sleep. Now, don't we all want that in our lives? And also the KG Website Design provides top-notch service with an emphasis on customer service. And if anyone like me has had to deal with folks who it's English as a second language and they're not in the United States and you're trying to explain something, a little frustrating.
Not easy.
Yeah, it's just like, and they treat each client with the highest standards possible because they want to ensure true results. So, Katrina, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And my very first question to you is if you would tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my, where do I begin? When I was a little girl, no, I'm just kidding. Believe it or not, it's kind of a long, convoluted story. I never thought I would get into this industry in the first place. I was 30 years in corporate working as an administrative coordinator for VPs and directors, and the last job I was at was Amgen. And so I was the one who made sure everything worked, got everything done, all in the background. And every job I had, I was always thrown in and said, figure it out, because the girl that I was either taking the place up or whatever had either been fired, let go, and there was nobody there to train me.
Oh.
So I was always figuring things out. So because of that, that's kind of how I got into what I got into in the first place. I figured I started my business originally as a virtual assistant, thinking I could do all of this. And this was way before anybody knew what a virtual assistant was. So half the time when I'd say I'm a virtual assistant, they say, so are you virtually not here? So needless to say. marketing and websites and that type of thing, only because people would ask me, who did yours? I did. Well, will you do mine? Okay. Who did your social media? I did. Well, will you do mine? And that's kind of how it all began. And so I kind of morphed into doing the websites, membership sites, because it was more of my love than doing social media, because social media is one of those things. It's an animal in itself, and it's constantly changing and constantly churning. And it was difficult to keep up. And it was hard for me a lot of times because I'd always hear from clients, well, my niece told me I could, or my son said I could, or, okay. Everybody was an expert. So it's like, okay, fine. I'm done. I won't do this anymore. So that's it in a little nutshell.
Helpful because it gives us a sense of how you got thrown into the deep end, as people used to say, and you were able to figure it out, to problem solve. Because from what I've been hearing from other folks, some of those skills are not getting passed on to the next generation.
No.
And I'm just, I'm thinking like the example that you've been giving of your journey, if you didn't have those skills of trying to figure stuff out, your lifestyle would be totally different than it is now.
Yep. Totally.
Probably not as much fun.
Probably not. It would be very boring.
I've just been realizing how important the whole problem solving and not getting stuck when you hit an obstacle, but going, so what can I do? And so you did websites.
Yep.
And realized that social media, I like the word that you use, churn, because I really feel trying to do anything with social media, it really is just a churn.
Yes. It's just this constant, oh, we're going to change this now. We're going to change that now. Oh, by the way, it's going to be this way now. And it's just like, it's so hard to keep up with the algorithms and everything else. I'll gladly give it to someone else to figure out.
I definitely feel your pain as someone who's trying to do her own and just,
frustrating.
Okay, so tell us, and you've told us a little bit, but how you got drawn into this line of work of the website design and membership sites, and how has that benefited others?
Well, I got drawn into it because of the creative side, and I realized when I was looking at a lot of other websites out there, I was finding they weren't very easy to manipulate. A lot of times they didn't have their contact information on there anywhere. No phone number, no email, no name, no address, nothing. A lot of it was content, and a lot of it was misspelled, grammatical errors, not a lot of imagery. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized, wow, these could be done so much better if they just did this little tweak or that little tweak. And so I started kind of doing that. And one of my favorite things to kind of step back a little bit is kind of training and teaching people. That's kind of one of my favorites. And so I'm kind of morphing into trying to do more of that for my clients as well as outside, because I know when it comes to websites, even though most people say, okay, I can build it, they start and then they say, this is too much. I'd rather just hire somebody to do it for me. So that's kind of why we got into it, because the other piece of it too is I saw how so many entrepreneurs, including myself at the time, are having such a hard time getting started. And there's really no step or guideline that says, okay, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. There's stuff here and there, but you really got to try and hem and pop. You got to really investigate and try and find it. And it's not that easy to do. So it was a mission of mine, so that way I could really try and help more entrepreneurs that are just starting out to at least get that website on there, because that's the most important key, because that's the first place people look at, not just your social media.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying, because I'm a DIY person and I do go down rabbit holes. And a friend of mine the other day just looked at me and he said, why don't you hire someone to do that? Look at the amount of time you have spent.
Yep. We forget how much our time is worth. And then when we sit down and add it up and realize how much time we've spent, we're like, oh, wow, I could have hired somebody and had it done in a lot less time.
Yeah. And it could have been done right.
Yeah.
Which is always a plus.
Yes. So true.
Some of the mistakes that I've made. So.
Oh, me too. I hear you. I still make them. You know, I'm not perfect. Nobody is.
Well, exactly. And I think that that's a piece that entrepreneurs, we need to learn to give ourselves grace, because, you know, that phrase, failing forward, if you don't fail, you're not trying and you're not learning anything.
No.
So it's really okay to make mistakes. But in the 2.5 minutes that we have left, I'm watching the clock and trying to be, you know, protective of your time. What is your gift that you want to give the world? You know, something that entrepreneurs can take away from our chat and use on some level and implement?
I have 3 things, and I'll make them quick. One is, you really should, if somebody does your website for you, really should get the back end piece of it, because if they happen to disappear or decide they're not going to do it any longer, you have to have that information, as well as owning your domain name. You really need to make sure that your domain names are under your name or transferred over to you, so that way it's yours, because a lot of webmasters will go back and say, sure, you can have that. It's going to be a couple grand because it's under my name. So always make sure, because that's your proprietary information, make sure you've got those 2 things. And the other thing I would say is, before you have anybody help you with anything, make sure you get everything in one place all together. Your social media information, getting them admin for a lot of the stuff they need, links for your pay pieces, links for your CRM, client resource management, like MailChimp and that type of thing. Because a lot of times people will get upset because things take longer than expected, but a lot of that is because they're not supplying the information that we need, and then we have to do this back and forth, and then they're like, well, I can see it, yeah, but we can't see it. So it's, or I have access, yeah, but we don't have access. So it's one of those key things that you really want to keep tabs of and make sure you push that forward.
That's a very good point, and I apologize, I forgot to turn my phone off before we started.
That's okay.
I had a call right in the middle of this. Like,
you just roll with it.
Exactly. It is 2021, kind of a hangover from 2020. And
oh my gosh, that was a hell of a hangover too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No more tequila for me.
I like what you said about having it all in one place, and I'm wondering, is Google Docs one of the better places to put it, or a Word document in Dropbox? What do you suggest to gather all that in one place? Because that's a really, really good point.
Those are all good pieces to do it in, but remember, and I'm not denoting Google whatsoever, but if you read anything when it comes to their terms and conditions, they own what's ever on their server, including the information you've got on there. So always making sure that you've got a backup plan where you either have something on an external drive or you have it on another cloud source. And here I'm just one quick caveat just for that is, just recently, Fiji, which is the camera people, recently had a ransomware because they backed up their information. They told the ransom people not going to pay it, and guess what? They backed everything up and business continued as is, only because they had that in place, which a lot of businesses do not. So I always recommend that you're always housing it in various different places, because you just never know. But that is a good point. A lot of the cloud sources out there, Dropbox, Box, Google Docs, that type of thing, just making sure you have it in these various different options so that you have, just in case. You never know.
That is such a good point, because this is the day and age where you have to be extremely careful.
Yes, very careful.
Well, Katrina, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. This has been very fun.
Thank you, Robin, and I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, for sure.
Wasn't that great? She just has so much information and all of her experience that she can bring to this. And
I was just looking at my notes at some of the things that she was talking about, having all your documentation in one place. And that includes the links and where things go and your branding colors and font and all of those things. And I was just reflecting on an awful story that I heard from a friend about another friend that they were doing some business with. And the friend who was the website builder was not going to relinquish my friend's business name back to her. And you know, what can you do? It was a deal among friends and all of those things, but it went south and it soured a lot of people. So do protect yourself, even if it's a friend. Think about safety. So I just wanted to pass that on, that well, we all know awful things happen, but why not prevent as much as we can? And that's part of why I do this series, is so that we can get the information we need, hopefully before we need it. Okay, moving right along, and I appreciate you being here this long. I wanted to let you know that we have changed our time. It is now 2 o'clock Pacific time, which is 5 o'clock Eastern time. And you can get in touch with us at robin@feelsoalive.biz. And we're always on the second and fourth Thursdays, except in August, where we take the month off. And in December, it gets a little wonky. But otherwise, we're always here. And make sure that you subscribe on YouTube so that you can find out when it is we're going to be dropping a new one. So hit the bell and subscribe. And also on Facebook. So if you look for us, Feel So Alive Marketing Group, either on YouTube or Facebook, you should be able to find us. And thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you being here. Any topics that you would like to hear about, please feel free to message me or text me or email me, and we'll see what we can do. I thought that was kind of fun. We had to do that today. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, whether you're watching us live or on the replay.